it's time for the questing hour already?
A quest, you say? Happy Monday! Jinx!
That was crazy. That was really good. We didn't plan that, guys.
Speaking of planning things,
Yeah.
our first episode was on the eclipse.
Oh my gosh. It's pretty cosmic.
We're meant to be.
Is this fate? Could it be?
It was rain in the stars.
Is destiny calling us? Wow, that feels pretty cosmic to me.
It feels like we're all meant to be here right now.
So, yeah. So welcome in. Welcome back. It's our third episode already. It's wild.
Oh, so excited.
I know. This is going to be a good one. We're really getting into the thick of it today. We're setting off.
Into the thick of it.
Into the thick of it. What a weird time on TikTok that was.
Truly.
I always feel like it's kind of weird.
Honestly, TikTok goes through so many phases.
Right? I always feel like it's kind of weird when like a children's song blows up like that. And then it's like all these adults being like cutesy. Which is like, if it's your thing, you do you.
Or like weird. Like I don't know what's worse. Is like the adults being cutesy or the adults being weird about it.
Right. Like, okay. Let's move on.
Like, okay. Forget about it.
Forget about it. Okay. Well, we had 2 quests last week. Monday quest and a Thursday side quest. So, Ari, how did your Monday quest go?
Monday quest, if y'all don't remember, was to find your muse and write a letter to your muse or some form of contact. I don't care if you put a message in a eco-friendly bottle and threw it in the ocean.
Eco-friendly.
and then retrieved it back and didn't leave it in the ocean.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was really nice. I actually, for all of my witchy people out there, I've been tapping into a little bit of shadow work, if any of you know what that is, but getting down deep into the dark, nitty-gritty bits of myself that I haven't wanted to face or explore. And that's what I did a lot of when I was writing to myself, was like, why am I the way that I am? Yeah. And who do I want to be? More importantly. And it was a lot of like intrusive work. I actually did some of it like throughout the week. I was like thinking about it all week after I wrote the letter. Yeah. And I just like couldn't stop thinking about it because I was like, okay, well, what can I do to do this thing? And what can I do? It just like got me thinking about myself, which is a process all the time, but it felt good. It felt, I was relieved, to say the least.
I love that.
How was yours, Maggie?
It was actually,
you wrote to your mom, right?
I did write to my mom, and that was really good. And I just said like a whole bunch of things that I've been wanting to tell her for a while and things like that.
I love your mom.
Which was really good. I love my mom too.
Wait, did you actually give it to her? Like, did she read it?
No, I didn't give it to her. I'm kind of scared. I always am scared to let people read my writing, which I'm sure you understand as a writer. It's just like so vulnerable. That's my soul in there.
No, it is.
But I think I'll probably
even like when it's a short story or something, it really is vulnerable all the time.
Yeah. And then I also emailed myself, which was very, very good, because this week has been like the part in the hero's journey where the terrible thing happens that sends you on the quest to glory. And that's been this week for me. So I was like, whoa, I'm going to write to myself once I'm through this journey. And like at the end of this like quest that I'm going on through this terrible valley, and when I'm on the mountaintop, I can read this back and be like, wow, I really made it. And it was all the things that I wanted to say to myself. I wish that I could hear from somebody, and just all these things that I've been waiting to hear. And so when I read it in the future, I'll be like, wow, I was there for me all along. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's also nice because you realize like how much you learned in the process and like how much you actually grew. It's sometimes hard to see your progress when you're standing in one spot. So seeing yourself from the past and being able to connect with that moment and realizing where you are now is like, oh shoot, I do deserve a pat on the back. Like I do deserve this moment. And it feels way more satisfying. The top of that mountain peak, way higher, way more satisfying when you realize how low, you know, you were in those moments.
Yeah, just being able to look down
Yeah,
at yourself from a bird's eye view and being like, wow, all of this, every part of this journey has meant something to get me here. And just kind of being able to
yeah,
be kind to yourself in those moments in the past. Because like
yeah,
you were going through it and then you made it out of it still.
yeah. And like in this moment too, like I'm just gonna preface right now because obviously everyone's season outside. By the time this episode comes out, I will be in an apartment, but I'm currently at an Airbnb. I am recording on my phone with a TikTok microphone, sitting outside, coughing because the air. I think I swallowed something.
Oh.
But by the time this episode comes out, I will be in an apartment, so I'll be fine with my proper setup and recording station. But it's just like moments like these where it like is very easy to like get down and feel bad on yourself and bad on your life, especially like I'm at a point where I'm about to be 25 this year, and some people are like, "Oh my God, you're so young," but I'm like, just in time for my quarter life crisis, guys.
Right? It's
like,
it's about that time.
It's about that time
Yep.
where like I feel like I'm behind in the race that everyone
Yeah.
else is running.
Yeah.
And you know, especially in moments like this where it's like, okay, well, why am I in this position? Like, you know, not to get too personal, I'm not going to share much of that, but you know, it's nice to reflect and kind of plan and plot for the future when you're in moments like this, because you are at your lowest, and if you can stay motivated and keep at, you know, a positive mindset, not toxic positivity, but just enough positivity to get you through, you know, while recognizing where you are and where you can go, you know, it'll stop you from sinking further.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know? So yeah. That was Monday's quest.
Yeah. So a lot of soul searching in there, and it's only gonna get better.
Yeah.
Well, how about
and Thursday's quest? Yeah, Thursday's quest was your comfort food quest.
Oh yeah.
Which by the time you see this again, we'll have some TikToks put out where you'll see Maggie and I doing our quests. But I actually realized when I was thinking about my comfort food, I was like, oh my God, my comfort food's not even a food at all. It's coffee.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. It's coffee.
I was sitting down, like eating breakfast, like Friday morning, and I like had a lame bowl of cereal and a nice cup of coffee. And I was sitting there like, what is my comfort food? Is it cereal?
Like, let me sip my delicious, heartwarming coffee.
Yeah, let me sip my heart and soul real quick.
And figure it out.
And then it dawned on me. Yeah. It's coffee.
That is fantastic. Do you have like memories associated with specific coffee that you've had?
Yes. Yeah. I do actually. I have specific moments where I'm like, wow. Because so like my very first memory of coffee was when I was like, I think 10 or 11. And my sister, who's about the same age as me, was already drinking coffee. Yeah. Which you're not supposed to do that young. Right. But I don't know how or when she started drinking coffee, but I only saw her on the weekends because she lived with my dad. Yeah. And she's drinking, and one day it's just us two in the kitchen, just a bunch of silly little kids doing whatever we were doing. And it was like early in the morning. I don't know who was home or who was awake, but I come in the kitchen and she's like making coffee for herself. She's like sitting on the counter, and which we did often. Yeah. And shout out to my sister, who will also be unnamed.
Thanks, sister. Wow, we have so many mysteries.
So many mysteries. But I asked her if I could try some, and she was like, okay, yeah. So I tried some, and I thought it was disgusting.
Oh my gosh.
I hated it. Yeah. But she seemed to like it so much. I was like, oh, she's so cool. Like, I want to be like her. And so I like started drinking coffee so I can drink it with her. Yeah. And I hated it so long. And I drank it so much, I convinced myself I liked it. Yeah. And now I actually love it.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible.
You gaslit myself into liking coffee.
This is me now. I love this.
This is me now. The power of manifestation.
Right?
I am a coffee lover now.
I do love coffee. I do. That is so great. No, I brought that up because one of my memories that I have with coffee the most is every time I have a pumpkin spice from Dunkin' Donuts, I think about watching the sunrise with you every morning in college.
No, literally, anytime I get an iced coffee from Dunks, I'm like, oh my gosh.
I should be
Like, I
drinking this.
wish I was just watching the sunset right now.
On a hillside with Ari.
Literally. And then I think of like, what's it called? I think it was the week of finals where it was right before I took my caffeine break because I was walking with you after we got, what was that taco truck? The basket, the fried basket of alligator or something.
Yes, yeah.
And you were eating that, and I was like, that is so gross. And I started shaking because I was on my third cup of coffee. Like, I had
Crazy.
6 espressos that day.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember being like, Maggie, and you were like, yeah. And I was like, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. Super
perfect.
I am inevitable. But I was like, Maggie, I don't feel so good. And you were like, what? And I was like, this is my third coffee of the day.
Girl! We need to sort it out.
That's exactly what you said. You were like, girl,
what is going on?
And that was the first time I ever took like a coffee caffeine break in the last 10 years. And I stopped drinking it, I think, for a month. And the first week was so brutal. Like, I was having migraines. I had to lay down. I literally felt like I was going through like real ass withdrawal symptoms. It was so hard. And then after like, 4 or 5 days, it started fading a bit and I was feeling better. And then after the month, I was like, okay, I can go without caffeine. But then after the month, I was like, a coffee.
Right? I have like one bad day and I'm like, I need like 1,000 Diet Cokes. And I can't do it.
Just go for it.
Right? I give up. So maybe that'll be one quest along the way. Like go a week without coffee. We'll see if we complete that one. Every night has a bad day.
Now I literally drink it every day. If I'm not drinking a coffee, I'm having my new thing is Alani Nu. I am obsessed. It is so delicious, and it's probably not the worst energy drink out there for you. So
I've heard a lot of good things.
It's so good. Definitely recommend.
#
not sponsored.
We are not sponsored, but it's good.
Unless you want to sponsor.
Now, hear me out.
Consider this.
I mean, every night needs its fuel. Just saying.
And my fuel is redacted.
That could be your business. So great.
Anyway. What's your comfort food?
So my comfort food is mac and cheese, but specifically the kind that my mom makes on Thanksgiving.
Oh, and so homemade mac and cheese.
So I searched the back of my brain to remember her recipe, and it's like 4 different kinds of cheeses. So I went to the grocery store, got all the ingredients, cooked it all up, and it was so fun, just like being alone in the kitchen, doing all the stuff by myself, and then at the end of it, it was so good. Oh, it was so good, so warm and cheesy. It was delicious. And for me, mac and cheese is an entree. Like, I don't need a side. It's one plate of mac and cheese and I'm done.
That is a hard topic, Maggie, because a lot of people would disagree with you.
Controversial. Turkey is not the main course on Thanksgiving. It's mac and cheese with a side of turkey. Maybe. Sometimes it's mac and cheese with a side of mashed potatoes.
Well, I would say I don't know if I agree.
I know it's wrong, but I can't help myself.
Wait, that sounds so good though.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Now I want mac and cheese. And homemade too. I was like, when you said mac and cheese last week, I was like, Kraft?
No, none of that fake stuff. The real deal.
She shredded the cheese herself.
I'm shredding the cheese. I'm mixing that roux. I'm cooking the noodles.
Throw it in the pot.
I'm putting it together in the pot.
This is what the cheese does.
This is what the mac and cheese does. Yeah. That's a little bit of
That's so funny.
TikToks that you'll see of me cooking. It's all this. Over my cauldron of mac and cheese. Yeah, that's kind of what it's gonna look like.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna make that a meme. See the meme on our Instagram, y'all.
Yeah.
Once I edit it together.
It's gonna be us cooking up the dinner.
So for this week,
yeah,
we're talking about defining our main quest, right?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's the main quest. As we said last week, it's like the mission of the video game, like where it starts and the goal, the end. Which obviously, like, it's not gonna be the end. You could probably throughout this series, I imagine us if we do this forever, which would be great. we would have a series of main quests as we like grow and we complete our quests. We'd have like a series of things.
Oh yeah, through every stage of life.
Yeah,
I think so. Some of my family, like my aunt and my uncle, shout out to you guys, love you. They messaged me with their opinions of the podcast, and they messaged me with their opinions of the podcast, and it was really, really nice. And they gave some constructive criticism, and I really appreciated it. But my uncle was like, I'm already thinking about my comfort food and what I'm going to eat this weekend.
That's so cute.
And I was like, wait, that's so nice. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, it means a lot that you actually like, you know, are listening to the podcast and you're considering doing the quest also.
Right.
And my uncle is like a grown man with a career and kids. And so I think it's important to, you know, shout out to all age groups here that everyone is welcome to this podcast and you're all welcome to follow the quest along.
Absolutely.
However way you can or want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're defining our main quest today.
Yes.
And how do we do that?
That is such a good question.
I just think we're all wondering.
I think we're all just, what is a main quest? And when I hear the words main quest and I think about what I want in the future, it's kind of just like these big dreams or these big wishes that I have. Like, oh, I want to be a movie director. I want to be rich and famous. I want to be married and have a beautiful life and all these things. But you can't really feel them. They're not super tangible goals. And so you're kind of just stuck where you are, constantly wishing for these things without any way to actually reach them. And unfortunately, I got really good advice from a business class, which if you don't know me, I always lean towards more like artistic ideas and more abstract things. And when I have to think about like business or stats or math, I kind of just check out. But I got this thing from a business class that I took, and it's called SMART goals, which you may have heard of. But it's just a way to make your goals and your dreams more attainable and like tangible to you. And so each letter of SMART has a word that goes with it. It's strategic. Wait, I Googled it.
She said, wait a minute.
Wait, okay. So each letter that is in the word SMART has a word that goes with it. And it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So specific, you start with a goal that is like, it's not just like, I want to be rich and famous. It's going to be like, I want to have this amount of money or this amount in savings and have like this many followers on Instagram or something. Something that actually makes sense to you instead of just this random abstract idea.
Yes.
And measurable is kind of along the same path. It's like putting numbers to the goal. Like, I want to have 700 Instagram followers by April 15th or something, which is in 4 days. So if you guys can't get us there, I'm going to be kind of sad. We're at like 16 right now. We can get to 700. Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. And things like, I want to like lose like 15 pounds or whatever, like a specific number that you want to attach to your goal. And achievable is kind of going back to what I said about the followers, something that could actually happen. Like us getting 700
something
followers
that's reasonable
in 4 days is probably not going to happen. And when you make goals like that, you're kind of just setting yourself up to be disappointed in the future. So it's something that you could actually see yourself doing. And that's not saying like don't shoot for the stars or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that the goal itself is like unachievable. It's more like the time constraints we put on it are like kind of unachievable. So like we could get to 700, but maybe that'll take us say like 3 months or something, as opposed to us trying to rush and like force people to be like, follow us in the next 4 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we mean by achievable. Attainable.
Exactly. And then the fourth one, R, is for relevant. So it's got to be something that makes sense in your life. It can't be like, okay, so I work at like a television network and I want in 25 years I want to be an astronaut. Like that's not really something that's relevant to my life. Even if it sounds good on paper, it's not something that makes sense for my journey in life. So it's got to be something that aligns with your values, aligns with your life, like your family status, whatever. And again, like not saying don't shoot for the stars. It's just think about things that make sense for you and how you can actually achieve those goals.
Yeah.
And the last one is time bound. So everyone wants to say like, oh, in the future I'll have this. When I'm old, I'll do this. And in this SMART goals technique, you're kind of putting a specific time on it. And you're saying like, oh, in 16 weeks, I want to achieve this goal. By next week, I want to have finished this quest, things like that. So you can know that there's a specific day that you've completed this goal. And it gives you like a sense of pride when you reach that goal by that day or by that year or month, because you're like, hey, I did it in the time frame that I said I wanted to do it again. And that's like a goal checked off the list. And then you can go on to your next quest. Yeah, so that's just like the whole SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound to just keep you on track and give you measurable units to know when you've achieved your goals and keep you motivated to do them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. It definitely like it makes more sense, I feel like, to make your goals more specific. If they're more like I've heard this from like quite a few people, and the same goes for like if you're more of a spiritual person, like the same goes for manifesting. Be more specific in trying to manifest or achieve or plan your goals, writing these things down to the specific number, to the specific date. But also it's important to think about my dad told me this, but he was like, we were talking about me struggling basically and the goals that I have in life. And he was saying that like, you focus so much, especially because like everyone knows I have anxiety, but he was saying that like, you're thinking too much about the future and like you're thinking too much about the destination and not the journey and actually how to get there. So what can you do today in this moment to go towards your destination, to get towards your goal? If I want to own a coffee shop bookstore, what can I do today
right now
to achieve that in the future right now? And what did I do? I got an interview today for a coffee shop bookstore.
That's so
or for a coffee shop, not a bookstore. But
not yet.
This way I can learn how to not yet. But this way I can learn how to make coffee so that when I do end up owning my own store, manifesting, because I will own my own store. I will. But when I do, like, I'll know how the business works. I'll know how to make coffee and drinks. And I've already had customer interactions in the same like environment. So when you're creating your goals and planning your goals, the idea is to think about, time frame, specific details of what you can do, when you can do it reasonably without burning yourself out or pushing yourself too hard. Everyone's time frame is different. That race that I was talking about in the beginning of this podcast does not exist. It is not a real race. It is not tangible. Nobody's getting a trophy at the end. We're all just on this rock. Not to get philosophical.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Exactly.
We're
and I'd be walking that marathon because absolutely not.
I might be like on all fours crawling.
I'll drag you.
She's got me in a wheelbarrow pushing me down.
We'll take turns. I'll hold your legs and you crawl.
Yeah, that's what our life is looking like right now.
we're taking turns so our arms don't hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
We have to carry each other sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the idea of the SMART goals. That's really like, especially the acronym is so nice too.
I kind of think of it as like if you're making a wish from a genie, you know, and then you say like, oh, I want to be this, but you don't make it like specific enough. And genies are always like, aha, you did say, and they give you like the worst life possible. It's because you have to be very specific about what you want in order to actually get it. So it's kind of just being like, I will have this in this amount of time, in this like frame of exactly how I want it. And then you can like line yourself up for success.
That reminds me of this book that I was reading that was talking about when planning like your goals or trying to think about your future or visualize yourself, think about the person that you want to be.
Yeah.
So like think about who that is and who that like what that person would do. So like especially when you're forming habits to or actions to try to like complete your goals, like think of who you want to be in the future and what she would do to complete those goals.
Yeah. Like
almost like acting like you're a better version of yourself. Like some people really say like fake it till you make it and it like eventually you'll become it. And I kind of believe that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna lie.
Right. I've heard a lot of people like when they want a specific job, they'll find people that have that career and they'll like reverse engineer their whole journey to get there. Ooh. And so if you know someone that is like kind of who you look up to, your mentor, or you can just visualize yourself in the future, you can like go back, trace all the steps of how they got there and just kind of just follow that roadmap in a way.
Yeah, like kind of just like copy paste, honestly, and with your own flair. Yeah, I love that. I never thought of that.
Right? Yeah.
Wait, I kind of want to do that now.
I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, if I want to be a movie director,
like, who can
I should see what other movie directors have done, right?
No, exactly, exactly. And like that makes perfect sense. And I mean, even if you can't like, you know, get in contact with whoever that is, like I'm sure if they're famous or a big person, you could literally look it up. Yeah. You could look up where they started and how they got to where they are. And especially because like, for example, me or like Maggie, like directors and writers are usually big and famous. So it's like, you know, they're easy to kind of like look up their lives and where they started and how they got to where they are. That's a great idea.
Right? Yeah. And everyone has their own journey. So if you don't find someone like that to look up to, you can kind of just make up what you think would be the steps. And then I'm sure you'll get there.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. And like the important thing to remember though is that like, you know, reasonably you're taking action, you're being proactive about, you know, whether it's your mindset or your physical actions or, you know, it's okay to rest and it's okay to take a break, but also like, you know, don't push yourself too hard. Don't beat yourself up if you fail. Don't beat yourself up if you have to rest. But as long as you're thinking proactively and you're trying to be the best version of yourself, or you're trying to make every day intentional, like what this podcast is about.
There you go.
You know, that's the important thing. Dang.
Wow.
This episode is way deeper than the other.
I know.
It's so far.
Told you, we're getting in the thick of it today.
I know. It's like I'm like in my head too. I'm like, whoa. Right? Like I'm getting emotional.
Oh
no. Okay.
Well, Ari, our quest this week is to figure out your main quest. What is going to be the thing that ties all of your side quests together at the end of the day? Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, it's hard because like I can go for like a theme, which would just like an overarching theme of like wanting to experience life, right?
Yeah.
But then I would have to, you know, define what experiencing life means to me and what I can do to actually experience life or whatever. I think honestly, my main goal is to start a coffee shop bookstore. Right? That's been my dream for a while.
Yeah.
And I wanted to expand into my own small publishing company where, the books that I publish will go into the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And for me, the coffee shop and the books is more about the community and being a part of the community, whatever city I'm in. I want to give a safe space for people and help people in any way that I
Yeah.
possibly can. And I want to inspire people. So I think that's the gist of my main goal. And I don't know my smart plan. So
Yeah.
that's what I have to figure out. Like
Yeah,
I
that's gonna be
have,
the hardest part.
but the hardest part is figuring out how to get there.
Hmm.
So I think the majority of my quests or my plans are gonna add up to that. And a little secondary main quest for me would be that in order to do those things and be those things for other people in the communities that I want to be a part in, I have to be that for myself as well.
Yeah.
So that's a secondary quest for me, I
Yeah.
think.
I love that. That's gonna be really good. I'm excited to see how you like break it down into little smart goals as we go along. And how your side quests are gonna like tie into that because there's so many little things you could do to like bring in
Oh, absolutely.
community and like bring in your writing. That's gonna be really exciting.
So,
That's super cool.
what
Wow.
do you have any idea what yours is, Maggie?
I've been thinking a lot, and as I kind of said, this has been a tough week for me, and I've learned a lot about what I need in my life this week. And so I think my main quest for now is going to be to become a person that advocates for myself. Because I kind of feel like I spend a lot of time advocating for other people and kind of just going along with what other people want to say because, like it's kind of like, oh, I'll go with the flow. I'll do whatever everyone wants to do. And it's not always like what I want to do. And at the end of the day, it ends up not being the best situation for me. So I think throughout this quest, throughout all these side quests and things that we do, I want to get to a place where I'm more comfortable standing up for myself and being able to advocate for my needs and my wants and just being more comfortable being with myself and not depending on the community of others to kind of lift me up and just kind of, being my own person.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into that, like,
Yeah,
you know, how to be alone with yourself,
exactly. Hmm.
but also like how to appreciate yourself in those alone moments.
Hmm.
And, one of the things that is really important too, that in my personal opinion, um, I can understand that goal. I can relate to that goal because it's so
Yeah.
important and like recognizing that it's okay to be selfish. I think,
Yes. Yeah.
selflessness is good, but too much selflessness is bad. So
Hmm.
why is not a little bit of selfishness, good?
Yeah.
And like you kind of have to reframe your mind and like retrain all your behaviors to
Exactly.
do that.
Hmm.
That's like not an easy task, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be such an amazing journey for you.
Yeah, I'm already thinking of like a smart goal I could do is like spend a certain amount of time by myself and just like block out a section of the day for just me. And if somebody tries to make plans, I say, no, that's my time. Because I'll
Yeah.
try to do that. I'll
Cool.
try to do that. And then somebody be like, hey, do you want to go do this? And I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't need alone time.
No.
Who needs alone time? And then I spent like 72 hours straight with people. And then I'm like, I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like honestly, yeah. I don't know how to be alone. I'm like I feel so
Yeah,
weird when
it's
myself.
super
So
weird.
I'm like, will you go to the store with me? Will you go do
Right?
this? Like,
Yeah.
and, a friend of mine who is a streamer,
Hmm.
um, he always talks about how like it's so nice kind of like going out to eat by yourself.
Yeah,
And he was like, sometimes people think that it's so weird, but when I'm there, I'm the only one I have to pay for. I just
that's
get whatever I
true.
want. I'm
Yeah.
chilling at the table. I can
Hmm.
do whatever I want while I'm
Hmm.
sitting there eating. And he's like, it's honestly so nice. And it is important to remember to like date yourself and just like,
Yeah, exactly.
remember who you are and, how life impacts you and how you impact it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Maggie, I see
Oh
you.
yeah. Oh yeah, self-discovery is going to be a very big thing for me coming up.
Yeah, so as we're talking about like our main quests, like I hope y'all have been thinking about your main quests.
Hmm.
And again, no matter what age you are or where you are at your life, quarter life crisis and all, um, maybe it's your midlife. We're
Yeah.
in the same boat, right?
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Existentialism.
We're all there.
We're all there.
Yeah.
But it's it's okay wherever you're at to
Hmm.
still have goals and to still have dreams that you want to reach because I feel so many people get caught up in the cause that is society and 9 to 5 that we
Exactly.
forget
Hmm.
how to be dreamers
Yeah.
and we forget that we had things we wanted to aspire to
Hmm.
or work towards that didn't involve working for businesses or corporations.
Yeah.
Maybe a business is your dream and that's fine.
Hmm.
That is okay also. But like don't forget how to be a dreamer along the way
Hmm.
because that's what really keeps us all going. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's where a lot of our relief comes from, our inspiration comes from,
Hmm.
and it's important to keep that mindset when you are pursuing your quests.
Oh yeah. I love that. Very well said.
I don't know what's
Exactly.
in the air today, guys.
I'm feeling it.
This is dark. I'm feeling it.
I'm feeling
Oh my
it.
god.
But yeah, we hope that you guys would share your main quests with us if you want. You can put them in the comments and you can
Yeah,
share them with us on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, anywhere that you want to share them with. And then hopefully we can encourage you guys to keep going as these episodes go along.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Definitely remember to hopefully write out your SMART goals
Yeah.
and make sure they're reasonable.
Hmm.
Um, some smaller goals can lead to bigger goals, so it's okay if you come up with your own mini quests to help you on.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, please do that.
Yeah, please do that and feel
Hmm.
free to share them with us
Hmm.
at hashtag my questing hour on all of our.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we would love to hear what your main quests are.
Hmm.
Just remember to ask yourself like why you want it, how can you get it, what is the purpose, which is like a big overarching question.
Yeah.
But you can start with the overarching and work your way down. Get smaller and
Hmm.
smaller, more specific and
Yeah.
more specific.
Just chisel away at the small things that you can do to
Yes,
build the iceberg.
statuary did not did not happen in one day, okay?
Yeah.
He chiseled away those abs and
Chiseled those perfect abs.
chiseled those perfect abs.
Oh.
We are David.
That's pretty good. I'll put David
But
between us so they
David,
see. Yeah. Yeah.
in order to be David, you gotta chisel away, okay?
Mhm.
Chiseling takes time and effort. If you're
Yeah.
not gonna do the time and effort, don't complain when David doesn't happen.
It's just a block of marble.
Just a block of marble, man. Oh my god, marble statues are beautiful. I wish I could chisel.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's
Have you
just so
seen the ones
ridiculous.
where they make the veils like look so
Yes.
realistic?
And it's like fabric, but it's stone. I don't get it.
I mean,
Yeah. It's crazy.
beautiful.
Hmm.
I
It's
think
so
this
cool.
is the end of the podcast where me and Maggie just delve into madness.
We just talk about marble statues for the next 45 minutes or something.
Yeah, it's 2 hours long.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my, too
Mhm.
much, too much.
Yeah.
Be sure to check out our socials. You'll see Maggie and I doing our quest over on our TikTok. You'll see long form updates on Instagram. And of course, our podcast is available on Spotify and YouTube.
Oh, yeah. And we'll see you guys on Thursday when we talk about a nightly mindset. and we give you another side quest for the weekend.
A side quest.
See ya.